This is one of the front tires off of my Kubota tractor, and I got a hole in it and wanted to show you how you can patch this tire. Now I'm actually going to put a patch on it, and then I'm going to put an inner tube in it also. I've got a pretty good sized gash in this tire, but as you can see, I've already got it the bead broken off of the rim, and on this one, by the time I noticed that I had an issue, I had already wallered the wheel. Well, I'd already wallered the tire off of the wheel, so I didn't have to break the bead. And to be quite honest with you, sometimes that can be by far the hardest part of repairing a tire. Alright, here it is on the inside. I don't know if you can see that or not. There's a little flap right there. Okay, so that's comes all the way through to there. It's probably about an inch. Well, a little less than an inch gash on the inside. So here's what I'm going to use to fix that. It's a slime tire patch. I got it from TSC and or Tractor Supply, and then some rubber cement. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to patch this over the top, and then I'm going to come back and put an inner tube in there also. But it's a pretty good sized gash in the tire, and I want to make sure that dirt doesn't work into it, and that water doesn't get in when I'm running through puddles and stuff like that. So I want to go ahead and patch the tire and then put an inner tube on top of that. So this video is going to be about how to apply a patch, and sometimes a patch is all you need. Now before you can apply the cement, you have to rough up the rubber in there, and so I'm going to use a wire brush on the end of my drill to do that. Okay, so you can see there how I've cleaned. You can see the area around there where it's not clean. But our patch is going to sit in there like that. So you want to make sure you've got area all the way around the patch that is clean. Alright, so now I just got to get the adhesive on there. Now you just take the cap and you puncture it like that. Alright, that's got the adhesive on there, and now you just want to let that dry until it gets tacky. A brush does a good job for that. Now this is our patch, and you can see it says bead on it, and that's talking about this is the bead of the tire. So you just want to, when you put it in, you want to make sure it's running the same direction. You don't want to run it that way. Okay, now that my adhesive is dry, I'm going to peel this paper backing off my patch. Now they make a tool called a stitcher, and this is not one. This is actually for replacing screen. I don't have a stitcher, but it looks a lot like this. It's just a wheel, and you roll it. Okay, now in theory, this tire is repaired and I could just air it back up. I would think anybody that would tell you that's used these patches over the years, they're kind of a hit or miss. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't work, sometimes they come loose, you know, a year or two later. I have found if I do this and then I put a tube in there, now if it had just had a small hole, I probably wouldn't even worry about doing a patch. If you got any kind of a gash like this, I found that if I do this, then I put a tube in there, I've got a repair that's going to last until I get some other kind of injury. Alright, since I'm putting a tube in here, I've got to get this valve stem out, and I'm just going to cut it off. Like that. Make sure you got all the dirt out of the inside. You know, this opened up on me, so I had a bunch of mud and stuff in here, so just want to make sure all that's clean. Alright, so I've got this tire up on some buckets. There's 3 of them, and that allows the wheel to drop down inside of it. So I know that my valve stem has to go right over here. So I'm going to start with my inner tube with the valve stem this way. Now this valve stem, I'll put a little graphic on there that shows you exactly what this valve stem is. But the thing about it is it allows you to lock it in place. So this is the type you want to use, especially for a tractor tire. Alright, so my valve stem is down, my hole in my wheel is down, so I want to put my valve stem down like that and then work this into the tire. Now here's my hole for my valve stem. I make a tool for doing this, but I don't have one. Come on now. There we go. Okay, now I got to work this tire back on. These are some old tire irons that were my grandfather's, and you really just, I mean, you can use just any flat irons or great big screwdrivers or pry bars or anything like that will work for this. Alright, so you just start by now, while you're doing this, you got to be really careful you don't pinch your inner tube anywhere, or all this will be for naught. Now you want to try to get this to drop down below that bead edge. We're getting there. There we go. There we go. I had too small of a piece there and I would never have gotten my iron up underneath it, so I took it out just a little bit. There we go. Alright, we're back on. That's the hard part. Flip over and just check. Make sure we're not pinching our tube anywhere. not. Alright, so we're looking for 30 psi on here. Alright, that's our 30 pounds right there. Alright guys, that's going to give us a good repair. You can see this is how it holds that inner tube in place. Kind of gives you a seal around here so that you don't get dirt down into your wheel, and because dirt over time will, you know, if it gets into your wheel, will mess up your inner tube, and if you get water in there, it can, you know, deteriorate your rim over time. After it gets aired up, this is what that split looks like, and as you can see, it's a good idea to put that patch on the inside so that you don't have your inner tube exposed to dirt and water as you go around. So that patch should take care of that. There are other ways of getting these fixed. You can take it to a tire shop, you know, and they can actually cut this part out and vulcanize a new piece in there. But I found over time, if your tear's not too big, that this will get you through the life of the tire unless you have another injury. Anyway, I hope this was helpful to you. Thank you for watching.